Way, way down, deep under the sparkling blue sea, there's a world painted with every color you can possibly imagine. It's a magnificent coral reef. And this reef wasn't just a bunch of pretty rocks and plants. Oh no, it was a bustling city, teeming with creatures of all shapes and sizes. Sunlight danced through the water, making everything shimmer and glow. In this busy underwater metropolis lived a very, very small fish named Pip. Pip was a cleaner wrasse. His scales shimmered with stripes of electric blue and inky black, like a tiny, living jewel in the vast ocean. And like all cleaner wrasses, Pip had a really important job. He was supposed to help the other, bigger fish stay clean and healthy by eating the tiny, pesky parasites that could make them sick. It was a noble job, a helpful job. But Pip had a secret, a heavy feeling that sat in his heart every single day. The thing is, Pip felt useless. He'd watch the other fish swim by, so full of purpose and strength. He saw the parrotfish with their strong beaks crunching on coral to keep the reef healthy. He saw sea turtles gliding gracefully, traveling for miles across the ocean, looking so wise and ancient. He saw schools of tuna, sleek and powerful, moving like one giant silver cloud. And then he'd look at his own tiny reflection in a passing bubble. He was so small, so insignificant. "What good am I?" he'd whisper to the gentle currents. "I'm too small to do anything that matters. I'm too small for anyone to even notice me." This sad thought followed him like a shadow, a little fish with a very big sadness in his heart. He felt useless, and for a little fish in a big ocean, that was the loneliest feeling of all. Every morning, the sun's first golden rays would filter down into the water, waking up the reef. For most creatures, this was the start of an exciting day. But for Pip, it just meant another day of feeling invisible. He'd leave his tiny home and a piece of brain coral and start looking for a fish to help. His job was to be a cleaner, but it seemed like nobody wanted his help. "Good morning," Pip would chirp in his tiny voice to a family of bright orange clownfish. "Anyone need a cleaning today? I'm great at finding those itchy parasites." The clownfish, busy playing tag in their anemone, would just laugh. "No time for that, little Pip. We're too fast for any parasites to catch us." And they would zip through the anemone's tentacles, a blur of orange and white, leaving Pip floating all alone. Feeling a little sadder, he'd swim on. A bit later, he saw a grumpy-looking pufferfish trying to get a juicy snail out of its shell. The pufferfish was huffing and puffing, its body puffing up and shrinking with frustration. "Excuse me, Mr. Pufferfish," Pip said politely. "Maybe you have some parasites from all that work. I can help you feel much better." The pufferfish turned one big round eye towards Pip. Cleanings are for big, important fish," he grumbled. "I don't have time for that. Now go away. You're distracting me from my breakfast." He turned his back on Pip, focusing all his energy on the stubborn snail. Pip's tiny fins drooped. As he swam away, his blue and black stripes didn't feel like a beautiful pattern anymore. They felt like a sign that said, "Not needed here." He passed a beautiful angelfish, her fins like flowing silk ribbons. She was admiring her reflection in a giant clamshell. Pip didn't even bother to ask. She was so perfect, she'd never need help from a tiny fish like him. He spent the rest of his morning watching everyone else. He watched a crab use its powerful claws to break open a sea urchin. He watched a clever octopus change its color and shape to hide from a shark. He watched a team of damselfish farming their own patch of algae, working together like expert gardeners. Everyone had a purpose. Everyone had a skill. Everyone was important. The word useless echoed in his mind. For Pip, it meant being unseen. It meant having a talent that nobody cared about. It meant wanting to help with no one to help. He felt like a single drop of rain in the middle of the ocean, completely lost. He'd often hide in the swaying seagrass and just watch. He saw how the bigger fish got all the respect. When they swam by, smaller fish moved. When they spoke, others listened. Pip believed his size was his failure. If only I were bigger, he'd think to himself. If only I were as big as that parrotfish, I could help shape the reef. If only I were as strong as that crab or as fast as the tuna. But he wasn't big or strong or fast. He was just Pip, small, slow, and, in his own mind, completely useless. The vibrant colors of his home seemed to mock his sad mood. He was just a sad little fish in a world full of wonder, blind to his own potential because he was so focused on what he wasn't. He would often practice his cleaning skills on pebbles, pretending they were the scales of an important fish. He'd dart in and out, nibbling away imaginary parasites, pretending he was the best cleaner in the ocean. But it was only pretend. When the day ended, Pip would return to his little crevice, his heart heavy with the same thought he had every night. Tomorrow, he'd think, maybe tomorrow someone will need me. But tomorrow always felt a long, long way off. Then, one afternoon, a shadow fell over Pip's part of the reef. It was a shadow so big, so vast, it blocked out the sun entirely, plunging everything into a sudden twilight. The smaller fish darted for cover. A hush fell over the normally noisy community. Pip peered out cautiously from behind a sea sponge to see what was happening. It was Goliath. Goliath! He was a giant grouper, the largest and most respected fish on the reef. He wasn't just big, he was immense. His body was a patchwork of brown and gray, perfect camouflage for blending in with the rocks. His eyes were the size of large pearls, ancient and wise. His mouth looked like it could swallow a small turtle in one gulp. When Goliath moved, the water itself seemed to bend to his will. He was the king of the reef. But today, Goliath wasn't moving with his usual calm, majestic grace. Something was wrong. He was swimming slowly and awkwardly, his massive head tilted to one side. A low groaning sound came from his huge mouth, a sound of deep pain that vibrated through the water. He stopped in a large sandy clearing, hovering unsteadily. The other fish watched from a safe distance, whispering. "What's wrong with Goliath?" whispered a butterfly fish. "I've never seen him like this," her friend replied, her yellow fins trembling. "He looks like he's in terrible pain." Goliath let out another groan, even louder this time. He opened his mouth slightly, then shut it again, wincing. It was obvious what the problem was. Something was terribly wrong inside his mouth. He looked miserable. His calm, wise eyes were clouded with suffering. He couldn't eat. He couldn't rest. The great king of the reef was helpless. Seeing his distress, a few of the braver fish tried to help. First, a bold surgeonfish swam up. "What's the matter, great Goliath?" he asked. "Oh, it's a terrible pain," rumbled Goliath, his voice thick with discomfort. "Something is stuck deep inside, a sharp agony in my tooth." The surgeonfish peered towards the enormous cavern of Goliath's mouth. "Let me see, perhaps I can cut it out." Goliath slowly opened his mouth a little wider. The surgeonfish swam closer, but then stopped. He was a medium-sized fish, but next to Goliath's mouth, he looked tiny, and inside were rows of large, scary teeth. The surgeonfish got scared. What if Goliath closed his mouth by accident? I'm sorry, Goliath," the surgeonfish stammered, backing away. "Your mouth is too big. Your teeth, they're very intimidating. I can't get close enough." Next, a strong parrotfish swam forward. "Don't worry, Goliath. I'll crush whatever is bothering you." But he quickly realized the same problem. He couldn't fit his big, clumsy beak into the tight spaces between Goliath's teeth. "It's no use," he sighed. "My beak is too big and blunt. I might do more harm than good." One by one, other fish offered to help, but each one failed. They were too big, too scared, or just didn't have the right skills. The great Goliath slumped onto the sand, his huge body trembling with pain and despair. The protector of the reef was in trouble, and nobody